This is VOA News. I'm Marissa Melton. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said in his nightly address to the nation Saturday that electricity has been restored to almost 6 million Ukrainians after Russian strikes across the nation through parts of many cities in the dark. Zelensky said repair work has been going on nonstop since Friday's attacks. He said problems with the supplies of water and heat continue, and there are still power outages in a long list of areas, including Odessa and Chernihiv. He repeated his call on the country's allies to provide more help putting together an air defense shield, which he said would provide Ukraine 100% protection from Russian strikes. One of Libya's rival prime ministers says his government cooperated with the United States in the extradition of the former intelligence officer now charged with making the bomb that downed Pan Am Flight 103 over Lockerbie, Scotland. AP correspondent Charles de Ledesma.
In a televised broadcast, Libyan Prime Minister Hamid Dibaba said Masoud Kher al-Marimir's extradition was lawful and his government was simply cooperating with an international judicial framework. Dibaba named Masoud as the bomb maker for the Lockerbie attack that killed 270 people and said that Libya had to wipe the mark of terrorism from the Libyan people's forehead. He provided no hard evidence for any of his allegations and did not elaborate on the government's role in Masoud's handover. I'm Charles de Ledesma.
Elon Musk said Saturday that Twitter is reinstating the accounts of several journalists who were suspended after he accused them of violating the social media platform's rules on personal privacy. Meantime, United Nations spokesman Stefan Dujarric says they've noticed an uptick in hate speech on the platform. More on this and all the stories we're covering at our website, voanews.com. This is VOA News. Thousands of migrants are packed into shelters along the U.S.-Mexico border, waiting for a Trump-era policy against asylum seekers to expire this coming Wednesday. And the father of the Illinois man charged with killing 7 people at a July 4th parade appeared in court on 7 felony counts for helping his son get a gun license. The broadcast licenses of 6 Moldovan television stations have been suspended. Moldova's Commission for Exceptional Situations said the suspensions were issued because the TV stations were spreading misinformation and were attempting to manipulate public opinion. The Associated Press reports that 4 of the 6 stations regularly retransmit programs from Russian TV channels that on Friday were banned by the European Council as part of a fresh wave of sanctions against Russia. Ecuadorian President Guillermo Lasso will meet with President Joe Biden at the White House Monday to discuss security and other issues, delicately trying to balance his nation's deep interests with both the United States and China. Lasso arrives in Washington with a list of priorities. At the top is securing help in battling drug cartels that have waged open warfare in Ecuador's streets and prisons. Drug-related violence prompted Lasso to declare a state of emergency in November in parts of Ecuador, which is sandwiched between Colombia and Peru, the world's largest producers of cocaine. In Durban, South Africa, 3 swimmers died and 17 others were seriously injured Saturday when a freak wave struck the beach of Bay of Plenty, one of the popular beaches in Durban, this according to emergency services. Robert McKenzie, spokesman of the KwaZulu-Natal Provincial First Responders Services, told the French news agency that one of the dead was a child around 7 or 8 years old. He said those injured are in serious or critical condition. Tunisia's parliamentary election appeared to have drawn a very low turnout on Saturday after the scheduled end of a vote that most political parties boycotted, denouncing it as the culmination of President Kais Saied's march to one-man rule. The election takes place 12 years to the day after a vegetable seller set himself on fire in an act of protest that sparked the Arab Spring. Pope Francis marked his 86th birthday on Saturday by rewarding 3 people involved in charity work, including a homeless man identified by the Vatican only by his first name, Gianpiero. The 2 others honored were a Syrian priest, Hanna Jalouf, and Italian industrialist Silvano Podrolo for his charity work. More on this and all the stories we're covering at our website, voanews.com. I'm Marissa Melton, VOA News.